Hey there, and a really big welcome to this deep dive.
Great to be diving in today.
Before we get started, if you find this exploration helpful, and we really hope you do, we absolutely love it if you hit that subscribe button. We've got lots more content coming your way to make English, well, easier.
Yeah, subscribing really helps us out and make sure you don't miss anything.
All right, so today we're diving into something that touches many of our lives almost daily, maybe even every day for some of us. Yet it can still feel a little like navigating a secret language, ordering coffee at a place like Starbucks.
Oh, absolutely. For so many people, that big menu board behind the counter can look less like a list of, delicious drinks and more like some kind of indecipherable code.
Exactly. An indecipherable, sometimes intimidating code.
Right. So we've been looking at some helpful insights, drawing from Texto Colado, and our goal today is pretty straightforward. We want to unlock that code for you.
We want you to walk into any coffee shop, Starbucks or otherwise, feeling not just confident, but like totally in the know. Like a regular.
Yeah, feeling comfortable, knowing what you want and how to ask for it.
Exactly. Forget those days of maybe hesitant pointing at the menu or just kind of mumbling coffee and hoping for the best.
We've all been there, I think.
Oh, for sure. By the time we're done here, our aim is for you to be navigating that menu like a pro, understanding the subtle differences between drinks, the weird size names, all the customization options.
And maybe even using some of that specific coffee shop lingo yourself.
Yeah, maybe impress the barista a little. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Where should we start? Probably right at the beginning, right? That first moment you step up to the counter.
Yeah, the initial interaction. It seems super simple, almost trivial, but even that first greeting actually plays a role.
It really does. Our source material highlights this, that a friendly hi or good morning or whatever fits the time of day.
It's more than just being polite, isn't it?
Exactly. It signals you're ready, you're engaging, you're about to place your order. It just kind of sets a positive, smooth tone right from the get-go.
Sets the stage nicely.
And almost immediately after you say hello, you're probably going to hear the barista ask something like, "What can I get for you today?" Or "What can I get started for you?"
Right. That's your cue. The green light. Time to launch into your, hopefully, carefully considered coffee request.
Okay, so greetings exchanged. The barista is ready. Now for the main event. Deciding what actual drink you want.
And this is where, let's be honest, the sheer number of options can sometimes feel a bit much. Like you said, that menu can be overwhelming.
It really can. It's like being presented with this huge, complex chart of coffee possibilities. Lattes, cappuccinos, macchiatos, cold brew. Where do you even begin?
But it doesn't have to be that daunting, right? If we kind of break these drinks down into their core components, it gets a lot clearer.
Precisely. Let's start with the absolute heart of so many coffee shop creations, espresso.
Espresso. Yeah, that small, powerful, concentrated shot of coffee. The source material calls it the pure essence of coffee, which I think is a pretty good description.
It really is. It's that intense, rich, fundamental coffee flavor that forms the base, the foundation for a huge number of other drinks on the menu.
So understanding espresso is kind of key.
Definitely. Now imagine you take that potent shot, or maybe 2 shots, of espresso, and you simply add hot water to it. What do you get?
That would be an Americano, right?
Exactly, an Americano. And our source notes something interesting here. It generally offers a richer, maybe slightly more complex flavor profile compared to your standard drip coffee that you might make at home or get from a diner.
Okay, so if you like black coffee, just straightforward coffee, but maybe you're looking for something with a bit more oomph, a bit more depth and intensity,
then the Americano is definitely worth trying. It's simple, but it's got that espresso base which really elevates it.
Got it. Espresso plus hot water equals an Americano richer than drip. Makes sense. Okay, now let's add milk into the equation. This is where I think things can start to feel a little more complicated for some folks.
The milk introduces a whole new set of variables and drink types. Let's talk about probably the most famous one, the latte. A true coffee shop staple.
Everyone knows the latte, or thinks they do. What is it, fundamentally?
Well, at its core, a latte is pretty simple. It's 1 or more shots of espresso combined with steamed milk, quite a lot of steamed milk, actually, and then it's finished off with just a very thin, delicate layer of milk foam on top.
Okay, so espresso, a good amount of smooth, steamed milk, and just a whisper of foam. That creamy, comforting blend. That's why it's so popular, I guess.
That's exactly it. It's smooth, it's milky, the coffee flavor is there, but it's mellowed by the milk, very approachable.
Okay, latte. Espresso, steamed milk, a little bit of foam. Check. Now, what's the actual difference between a latte and its close cousin, the cappuccino? They sound similar. They often get confused.
That's a fantastic question. And yeah, definitely a point of confusion for a lot of people. A cappuccino also features espresso and steamed milk. No surprises there.
Right.
But the magic or the key difference is all in the ratio of milk to foam. A cappuccino has significantly more foam, like a thicker, lighter layer, and therefore less liquid steamed milk compared to a latte.
Okay, so the texture is the main thing.
Exactly. The source describes the cappuccino as all frothy and creamy. If you're someone who really loves that light, airy, almost bubbly texture of foam mixing with your espresso, a cappuccino is probably going to be your jam.
More foam-focused. Cappuccino, more foam, less liquid milk. Latte, less foam, more liquid milk. That's actually a really clear way to think about it, the foam factor.
Precisely. Keep that foam factor in mind.
Okay, what about a macchiato then? That sounds kind of fancy Italian. It also involves espresso, I assume.
Absolutely. Espresso is still the star. Macchiato. Well, the name in Italian means marked or stained.
Marked. Marked with what?
Marked with just a small dollop, a tiny spoonful of make foam. That's it. So it's primarily espresso, much more espresso forward than a latte or a cappuccino, with just that little mark of foam to slightly soften the intensity.
Wow, okay. So very little milk involved there compared to the others.
Right.
Macchiato. Basically, espresso with just a touch of foam really lets the espresso shine through.
Exactly. It's for people who want the espresso front and center, but maybe find straight espresso just a touch too intense. That little bit of foam just rounds the edges slightly.
Getting a much clearer picture of this espresso milk spectrum now.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. What about for those of us who have a bit of a sweet tooth? There's always the mocha, right?
Yes, the mocha definitely caters to the sweet tooth. A mocha is basically a latte, so espresso and steamed milk, but with the addition of chocolate syrup mixed in.
Chocolate.
And it's often, though not always, topped off with a swirl of whipped cream. So it's rich, it's chocolatey, it's sweet. It definitely leans towards the more decadent, dessert-like end of the coffee spectrum.
Mocha. Think latte plus chocolate, often plus whipped cream. Got it. A treat, for sure. Now, there's another one that's become really popular recently, the flat white. Where does that fit in? Is it like a latte or a cappuccino?
Good question. The flat white is interesting. It's another espresso-based drink with steamed milk, so it shares DNA with lattes and cappuccinos. But the key difference here is the texture of the milk and the amount of foam.
Texture.
Yes. For a flat white, the milk is steamed to create what's called a microfoam. It's very finely textured, velvety, smooth, glossy milk with little to no discernible thick foam layer on top. It's integrated really smoothly with the espresso.
So less foamy than even a latte.
Generally, yes. Much less foam than a cappuccino, and usually a thinner, more integrated layer of microfoam than a standard latte. This velvety texture allows the espresso flavor to come through quite strongly, but it's balanced by that smooth milk. It's often described as having a stronger coffee flavor than a latte, despite using similar ingredients.
Okay, so flat white. Smooth, velvety microfoam, very little actual separate foam, strong espresso flavor, balanced by milk. Interesting. It sounds like a sophisticated choice.
It's definitely gained a following among people who appreciate that balance and texture.
Right. So we've covered a good range of the hot espresso-based drinks. Espresso, Americano, latte, cappuccino, macchiato, mocha, flat white. That's quite a list.
It is, but hopefully breaking them down by the espresso, milk, and foam components makes it clearer.
Definitely. Now, what about the cooler options? Summer's coming, or maybe you just prefer cold coffee. Our source mentioned cold brew and iced coffee. Are they the same thing?
An excellent and very common question. No, they are definitely not the same thing, although both are served cold.
Okay, so what's the deal with cold brew?
Cold brew is made using a completely different brewing process. Instead of using hot water to extract the coffee flavor quickly, coffee grounds are steeped in cold or room temperature water for a really long time.
How long are we talking?
Typically anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. It's a very slow, patient extraction.
Wow, okay. And what does that do to the taste?
This slow, cold steeping process results in a coffee concentrate that is naturally much smoother, significantly less acidic, and often perceived as less bitter than coffee brewed with hot water. Some people who find hot coffee a bit harsh on their stomach actually find cold brew much easier to drink.
Interesting. So it's a different chemical process happening there. It's not just about temperature.
Exactly. The cold water extracts different compounds from the coffee grounds compared to hot water.
Okay, so cold brew. Slow cold steep, 12, 24 hours. results in smooth, low-acid coffee concentrate, which is then usually diluted with water or milk and served over ice.
You got it. Now, iced coffee, on the other hand.
Is that just regular coffee that's gone cold?
Essentially, yes. Iced coffee is typically coffee that's been brewed using a standard hot water method, like drip coffee, for example, and then it's actively chilled down, sometimes rapidly, before being served over ice.
So it's brewed hot, then cooled.
Right. Because it was brewed hot, it will generally have the typical acidity and flavor profile of hot brewed coffee, just cold.
Yeah.
You can then add milk, sweeteners, flavors, whatever you like, just like you would with hot coffee.
Okay, that makes total sense now. Cold brew, brewed cold, slow process, different taste profile, smoother, less acidic. Iced coffee brewed hot, then chilled, tastes like regular coffee but cold. That distinction is really clear.
Yeah, it's a fundamental difference in preparation that leads to a different end product.
Phew. We've navigated quite a bit of the drink menu now. Espresso drinks, hot and cold options. Hopefully, as you're listening, you're starting to get a real feel for the core differences between these popular choices.
Absolutely. And just understanding whether you generally prefer the intensity of espresso or the creaminess of a lot of steamed milk, or maybe that light airiness of foam, that's a huge first step.
You know, your preference for those core elements helps narrow down that big menu quite a bit. Okay, so let's say you've zeroed in on what kind of coffee drink you want. Maybe you're thinking, right, a latte sounds perfect today. Now you hit another decision point. How much of it do you want?
Ah, yes, the sizes.
And this is where Starbucks, in particular, uses its own unique naming system, which can definitely throw people off if they're not familiar with it. It's not your typical small, medium, large.
Not at all. It's got its own little vocabulary. So let's decode the Starbucks size chart. It's essential knowledge for ordering there.
Okay, let's start at the bottom. What's the smallest size they offer? Tall, isn't it? Which always felt backwards to me.
It does feel counterintuitive, but yes, a tall is actually their smallest size for hot drinks. It holds 12 fluid ounces. So, like our source points out, don't let the name fool you. Tall means small.
Tall.
Small.
12 ounces. Got to burn in my brain now. Okay, what comes after tall? What's the medium equivalent?
Next up is Grande. Grande holds 16 fluid ounces. This is generally considered their medium size.
Grande, like grand in French or Spanish, meaning large. But it's medium.
Exactly. It adds to the confusion, doesn't it? But yes, Grande is the 16-ounce medium. And like the source suggests, it's often a really safe bet if you're unsure which size to pick. It's probably the most common size ordered.
Okay, Grande. The medium, 16-ounce standard, makes sense as a default. Following Grande, we get to Venti. Now that sounds like it should mean large. Venti, Italian for 20.
You got it. Venti does mean 20 in Italian, and it signifies their large size. And here's a little quirk. For hot beverages ordered as a Venti, you get 20 fluid ounces, matching the name.
Okay, 20 ounces hot.
But interestingly, for cold drinks ordered in Venti size, you actually get a bit more 24 fluid ounces.
Oh, why the difference?
The thinking is that the extra space in the cold Venti cup accounts for the ice that gets added, so you're still getting a similar amount of actual beverage, plus the ice.
Ah, that makes sense. So Venti large, 20 ounces for hot, 24 ounces for cold to accommodate ice. That's a pretty hefty drink.
It's a substantial amount, yeah. Definitely for when you need a good caffeine fix or just really want to savor your drink.
And finally, is there anything bigger than Venti?
There is, for certain drinks anyway. The largest size is the Trenta.
Trenta sounds huge.
Yeah.
Italian for 30.
Exactly. Trenta holds a whopping 30 fluid ounces. But, and this is crucial, it's exclusively available for certain iced beverages, typically iced coffees, iced teas, and refreshers. You can't get a hot drink or a frappuccino in a Trenta size.
Wow, 30 ounces. That's almost a liter. Yeah. Okay, so Trenta, the giant 30-ounce option, but only for specific iced drinks. Good to know.
Definitely. So if you're incredibly thirsty or facing a very long afternoon and you want an iced tea or cold brew, the Trenta might be calling your name.
Let's quickly recap those sizes again just to lock them in.
Tall. Small, 12 ounces.
Grande.
Medium, 16 ounces. The go-to.
Venti.
Large. 20 ounces hot, 24 ounces cold.
And Trenta.
The extra large, 30 ounces, but only for select iced drinks.
Perfect. And as we mentioned, the source wisely suggests that if you're ever really unsure, just defaulting to Grande is usually a pretty safe and satisfying starting point.
Absolutely. You can always adjust up or down on your next visit once you get a feel for how much 16 ounces really is and whether you want more or less.
Okay, brilliant. We figured out the drink type, we've mastered the sizes. Now we get to what our source called the fun part. Customization.
Ah, yes, the endless possibilities.
This is where you can really tweak and tailor your coffee to be exactly how you like it. It's like being a coffee architect, designing your perfect beverage blueprint.
That's a great way to put it. And Starbucks in particular offers a truly massive range of customization options. It's one of their big selling points. Let's try and break them down into categories. First up, a really common one, milk choices.
Right. It's not just milk anymore, is it? There's a whole dairy and non-dairy aisle available behind the counter.
Exactly. Your standard options are usually whole milk, non-fat milk, or skim milk, and often a 2% reduced fat option. But then you dive into the plant-based alternatives.
And there are quite a few now.
Oh, yeah. You'll typically find almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, and coconut milk. Sometimes even others, depending on the location and time of year.
And they all taste different, right? And affect the texture.
Definitely. Each one brings its own subtle flavor and texture profile to the drink. Oat milk, for example, has become super popular because it's known for being really creamy and steaming well, similar to dairy milk.
Okay, and almond milk might be a bit nuttier.
Exactly. Soy milk has its own distinct taste. Coconut milk adds that hint of coconut. So choosing your milk isn't just about dietary needs, it's also a flavor choice.
Good point. So milk options, dairy, whole, skim 2%, and non-dairy, almond, soy, oat, coconut, etc. Lots to choose from there. What's next in the customization world? Flavors. This means the syrups, yeah.
That's the main way to add distinct flavors, yes. Starbucks has a whole battery of flavored syrups. You've got the year-round classics like vanilla, caramel, hazelnut.
Standards.
Right. Then you often have mocha syrup, which is the chocolate in a mocha, sometimes white chocolate mocha, maybe toffee nut, cinnamon dolce, and then, of course, the seasonal specials.
Ah, yes, the pumpkin spice season, peppermint mocha time.
Exactly, those limited time offerings. So adding a pump or two of syrup is how you get a vanilla latte or a caramel macchiato or add a twist to any other drink.
And you can control how much syrup, right? Like how sweet it is.
Yes, you absolutely can. The standard number of pumps varies depending on the drink size, more pumps for bigger sizes, but you can always ask for fewer pumps if you want it less sweet. Or, as our source points out, you can request extra syrup or extra pumps if you like things really sweet or want a stronger flavor.
Good to know you have that control. So extra vanilla or maybe just one pump of caramel instead of the usual 3 or 4.
Precisely. Don't be afraid to specify.
Okay, syrups add specific flavors and sweetness. What if you just want sweetness, but maybe not the taste of vanilla or hazelnut? Are there other ways to sweeten your drink?
Yes, definitely. Beyond the flavored syrups, you have your basic sweeteners. You can ask for regular granulated sugar or sugar substitutes like Splenda, sucralose, equal aspartame, or sweet and low saccharin.
Okay, the little packets.
Right. And often they also have options like stevia, which is a plant-based sweetener, and sometimes natural options like honey or agave nectar, although those might be less common or cost extra.
So if you want your latte sweetened, but don't want vanilla syrup, you can just ask them to add a packet of stevia or a pump of classic syrup, which is just sugar syrup.
Exactly. You can fine-tune the sweetness level using these alternatives without adding a specific flavor like vanilla or caramel.
Got it. So we've customized the milk, we've added or adjusted flavors with syrups, we've controlled sweetness with other sweeteners. What else can we fiddle with? Our source mentioned temperature and style.
Right. The most basic temperature choice is obviously hot or iced. That fundamentally changes the drink.
Pretty straightforward. Hot latte or iced latte.
But beyond just hot or iced, there's also the option for certain drinks to be blended. And the prime example of this, the king of blended drinks at Starbucks, is the Frappuccino.
Ah, the Frappuccino. It's practically a category unto itself.
It really is. A Frappuccino is basically a blended concoction involving ice, milk, a coffee or cream base, and various syrups and toppings, all whizzed up in a blender until it's smooth and icy.
Kind of like a coffee milkshake or smoothie.
That's a pretty good analogy, yeah. They're sweet, they're cold, they're often quite indulgent. You can get coffee-based Frappuccinos or cream-based ones that don't have coffee in them at all.
So ordering something blended usually means you're heading into Frappuccino territory.
At Starbucks, yes. Frappuccino is their specific term for that style of drink.
Okay, so recapping the customization options. Milk, dairy and non-dairy, flavors, syrup, standard, extra, fewer, sweeteners, sugar, substitutes, classic syrup, and temperature style, hot, iced, or blended Frappuccino. That's actually a lot of levers you can pull.
It is, and we haven't even gotten into things like asking for extra hot or light ice or no foam or extra caramel drizzle. The possibilities are vast.
Wow. It makes sense why the source called it the fun part, but also maybe why people get overwhelmed.
It can seem like a lot initially, definitely, but the way to think about it is that it ultimately empowers you to get your drink made exactly, precisely the way you enjoy it most.
That's a good perspective. It's about crafting your perfect cup. Our source gives a couple of really good examples of customized orders. Let's break those down.
Yeah, looking at examples really helps solidify how it works.
Okay, the first one was, I'll have a tall vanilla latte with oat milk, please. Can you make it extra hot? And no whipped cream, thanks. That sounds pretty specific.
It is, but it's perfectly clear. Let's dissect it. Tall, that's...
Small size, 12 ounces.
Right. Vanilla latte, that's the base drink and the primary flavor.
Espresso, steamed milk, vanilla syrup.
Exactly. With oat milk, specifies the milk choice, overriding the default, which is usually 2%.
Okay, non-dairy preference.
Can you make it extra hot? That's a temperature modification. Some people prefer their drinks significantly hotter than standard.
Right, maybe they have a longer commute or just like it piping hot.
And finally, and no whipped cream, thanks. That's an explicit instruction to omit a topping that might sometimes come on certain lattes, especially flavored ones, though maybe less common on a standard vanilla latte, but it makes sure.
So size, drink, flavor, milk, temperature, topping, exclusion, all packed into one clear request.
Precisely. It hits all the key points efficiently and politely.
Okay, the second example was maybe even more detailed. Could I get a Venti iced caramel macchiato with extra caramel syrup? And no ice, just a little bit of ice, please.
Yeah, this one shows an even finer level of tuning. Let's break it down. Venti, that's
large size. And since it's iced, that's the 24-ounce cup.
Correct. Iced caramel macchiato identifies the base drink, the temperature, and the flavor profile. Remember, a macchiato is espresso marked with foam, but a caramel macchiato at Starbucks is a bit different. It's vanilla syrup, steamed milk, espresso poured on top, and caramel drizzle. Ordering it iced means it's built cold.
Ah, okay, so the caramel macchiato has its own specific construction. Good to know.
Yes. Then, with extra caramel syrup, this is a bit ambiguous, it could mean extra vanilla syrup, the base, or extra caramel drizzle on top. Usually they'll clarify or assume drizzle. Let's assume drizzle here for extra sweetness and flavor.
Okay, boosting the caramel aspect.
And then the really specific part, and no ice, just a little bit of ice, please. This person clearly doesn't want a cup full of ice watering down their drink, but maybe wants it just slightly chilled. That's a very specific preference.
Do you actually ask for that? Like light ice or no ice?
Oh, absolutely. Asking for light ice is very common if you want more drink and less dilution. Asking for no ice in an iced drink is a bit less common, as the drink won't be very cold, but they can certainly do it. This request is kind of a middle ground, just a little bit of ice.
It's amazing how granular you can get. It really highlights that you shouldn't be afraid to ask for exactly what you want within reason.
Exactly. The baristas are generally trained to accommodate these requests, while you don't have to order with 5 different modifications every time.
Probably best not to if you're in a hurry.
Right. But knowing these options exist empowers you. If you really dislike watery iced coffee, ask for light ice next time. If you wish your latte was hotter, ask for extra hot. It's about making the experience better for you.
Makes total sense. Okay, so customization is key. Now, to help us feel even more confident wading into this, our source talks about Starbucks lingo. Are there some specific terms that are really useful to know?
Yeah, there are definitely a few common words and phrases used in the Starbucks environment, or coffee shops generally, that are good to have in your vocabulary. Knowing them just makes the whole process smoother and helps you understand what the barista might ask or suggest.
Okay, let's decode some lingo. First up, espresso shot. We know espresso is the base, but what does shot mean here?
A shot just refers to a single, standard, measured serving of that concentrated espresso. Most small, tall drinks usually come with 1 shot. Medium, Grande, and large, Venti hot, often have 2 shots, and Venti iced might even have 3.
Okay, so the number of shots usually increases with the size.
Generally, yes. But the key thing is you can customize this too. If you want your Grande latte to be stronger with more caffeine and coffee flavor, you can ask for an extra shot or specify 3 shots.
So asking for extra shots means more espresso, more caffeine kick.
Exactly. You can add shots to most drinks. Conversely, if you're sensitive to caffeine, you could potentially ask for fewer shots or ask for decaf shots.
All right, decaf is an option too. Good point. Okay, espresso shot understood.
Yeah.
What about steamed milk? We keep mentioning it for lattes, cappuccinos.
Steamed milk is pretty much what it sounds like. It's milk that's been heated using the steam wand on the espresso machine, but the process does more than just heat it.
It adds air, right? Makes it frothy.
Yes, it injects steam and air, which heats the milk and creates that smooth, velvety texture and varying amounts of foam depending on how it's done. That process is crucial for the final texture of lattes, cappuccinos, flat whites, etc. The quality of the steamed milk makes a big difference.
So steamed milk implies both heat and that specific texture created by the steam wand.
Correct.
And related to that is foam. We talk about the foam factor distinguishing lattes and cappuccinos.
Yes, foam refers specifically to that lighter, airier, frothy layer of milk that sits on top of the liquid steamed milk in drinks like cappuccinos, where there's a lot of it, and lattes, where there's usually just a little. The texture can range from stiff and dry to fine, glossy microfoam.
So when you order a cappuccino, you're expecting a significant layer of that foam.
Exactly. If you don't like foam, you could potentially ask for no foam on your latte, although that might change the texture quite a bit.
Okay, foam. The light, airy milk topping. And the last bit of lingo mentioned was frappuccino. We already touched on this.
Right. Just to reiterate, Frappuccino is Starbucks' own trademark name for their specific line of blended icy drinks. They come in coffee and cream, non-coffee versions, and tons of flavors.
So you wouldn't go into a different coffee shop and ask for a frappuccino necessarily. They might call their blended ice drinks something else.
Exactly. Other shops might call them iced blended, frappes, or have their own unique names. Frappuccino is specifically the Starbucks brand name for that type of drink.
Got it. Espresso shot, steamed milk, foam, frappuccino. Knowing those definitely helps decode the menu and the conversation with the barista.
Absolutely. It's like learning a few key vocabulary words before visiting a foreign country. It just makes navigating the whole situation feel much less stressful and more comfortable. You feel more like you belong.
Totally. Okay, so we've done the groundwork, greetings, drink sizes, customization, lingo. Now for the moment of truth.
Yes.
Actually putting it all together and placing the order. Our source gives a nice, concise example dialogue. Let's walk through that.
Sounds like a plan. So the scenario starts with you, the listener, now armed with all this knowledge, stepping up to the counter.
Okay, here I go. Hi, I'll have a Grande iced vanilla latte with almond milk, extra syrup, and no whipped cream. How's that? Feels pretty confident after our chat.
That sounds perfect. Seriously, it's clear, it's concise, it covers all the bases. Let's quickly tick them off again. Size.
Flooding.
Temperature style.
Iced.
Base drink and flavor.
Vanilla latte.
Milk choice.
Almond milk.
Item modifications.
Yep, extra syrup, presumably vanilla, and no whipped cream.
Beautiful. A model order. It gives the barista everything they need in one go.
And what's the likely response from the barista after they've punched that in?
Typically, they'll confirm they got it, often by reading it back or just saying, got it. And then it's very common for them to ask a follow-up question, usually an upsell attempt, like in the example. Got it. Would you like to add anything else, like a pastry or extra shots of espresso?
Right. They might gesture towards the pastry case or suggest something else. It's just part of the script for them, usually.
Exactly. They're trained to offer those additions. And your response can just be a simple and polite refusal if you don't want anything else, like in the example, no thanks, just the drink.
Easy enough. No need to feel pressured.
Not at all.
Okay, so order placed, extras declined. What happens next? Logically, it's time to pay.
Correct. The barista will then state the total cost of your order. Okay, your total is $6.75 or whatever it comes to. That's your cue to get your payment ready.
Which brings us neatly to the next stage, payment itself. Our source mentions the different ways you can usually pay.
Yeah, it's pretty standard stuff these days. You can almost always use cash, although some places might be moving away from it. Credit cards and debit cards are ubiquitous.
And mobile payments too, right? Like Apple Pay or Google Pay.
Yes, most places, especially large chains like Starbucks, are equipped for contactless mobile payments. And specifically for Starbucks, they have their own very popular mobile app.
Ah, right. Lots of people use the Starbucks app to pay, don't they? You can load money onto it and just scan your phone.
Exactly. The app often allows you to order ahead as well, and you earn rewards like free drinks through it. So for frequent visitors, using the app can be very convenient and offer perks.
Good tip for the regulars. So payment methods are pretty flexible. Cash, card, mobile phone tap, or the store's specific app.
Generally, yes. You'll have options.
Okay, payment complete.
Yeah.
What's the drill after that?
The barista will usually hand you your receipt. Sometimes they ask if you want one. And then while you wait, they or another barista will start actually making your drink based on all those specifications you gave them.
Right. And this is where you might step aside slightly to let the next person order, especially if it's busy.
Good point. Yeah, usually there's a designated waiting area near the handoff counter, which is often separate from the ordering counter.
And how do you know when your specific Grande iced vanilla latte with almond milk, extra syrup, and no whip is ready?
They will call out your name. When you order, they almost always ask for your name to write on the cup. Then, when the drink is finished, the barista at the handoff counter will call out Grande iced vanilla latte for your name. Or maybe it's just your name.
So, gotta listen for your name. Don't want someone else accidentally grabbing your masterpiece.
Exactly. Keep an ear out. Once you hear your name, head over, confirm it's your drink. Maybe quickly check the label on the cup to be sure it matches what you ordered.
Good idea, especially if you had a lot of customizations.
Right. And once you've got your beautiful beverage in hand, what's the final step?
The polite conclusion. A simple thank you to the barista who handed it to you.
Absolutely. Always appreciated. It acknowledges their work and just ends the interaction nicely.
Manners cost nothing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that covers the whole ordering journey. But our source also mentioned some general coffee shop etiquette, kind of the unwritten rules for being a good coffee shop citizen.
Yeah, just a few helpful reminders to make the experience pleasant for everyone, you, the staff, and the other customers. One nice point mentioned is about ordering for friends.
Ah, yeah. If you're there with someone else, it's often considerate, especially if it's busy, for one person to do the ordering for both of you, rather than two separate transactions back to back.
Right. Just collect your friend's order beforehand and place it all together. It keeps the line moving a bit more smoothly.
Good teamwork. What else?
Another really important piece of etiquette, or maybe just advice, is to feel totally comfortable asking the barista for recommendations if you're stuck.
We touched on this, but it's worth repeating. Don't feel embarrassed if you don't know what you want or if the menu looks confusing.
Not at all. The baristas make and taste these drinks all day long. They usually know what's popular, what the seasonal specials are really like, or they can suggest something based on flavors you tell them you enjoy. I like sweet things, but not coffee. I want something strong and not milky. They can guide you.
That's great. They're like coffee sommeliers, in a way.
Kinda, yeah. So leverage their expertise if you need it. Don't just stand there paralyzed by choice.
Our source had that little example dialogue, too, which kind of showed this in action, even though the person started with a drink.
Right, the hot chocolate example. The customer starts. Hi, can I get a Venti hot chocolate with extra whipped cream?
Simple enough, but then the barista engages and offers more possibilities. Sure, do you want to add any flavors or toppings?
See? They're opening the door for customization, maybe suggesting something the customer hadn't thought of.
And the customer responds positively. Yes, can you add some peppermint syrup? That would be great. Maybe they wouldn't have thought of peppermint hot chocolate otherwise.
Exactly. And the barista confirms.
Got it.
Your total is $5.25. It just shows that little back and forth can lead to a more interesting or satisfying drink. The baristas are usually happy to help you craft something delicious.
So the takeaway there is, don't hesitate to ask questions or ask for suggestions. They're there to help.
Absolutely.
Okay, wow. We have really, truly done a deep dive here. From that very first high to understanding the difference between a macchiato and a flat white, decoding those size names, playing with customizations, learning the lingo, and even picking up some etiquette. We've covered a ton of ground.
We really have. And the main goal all along has been to just break it down piece by piece, demystify all that terminology in the process itself. We weren't ordering coffee to feel way less intimidating, much more straightforward.
Yeah, hopefully if you stuck with us, you now feel like you have a much clearer map of the coffee shop landscape.
Yeah.
You know the main landmarks, the lattes, the cappuccinos, the cold brews, and you know how to navigate between them.
And crucially, you know how to ask for directions, how to specify exactly what you want on your coffee journey.
It really should be an enjoyable little part of the day, right? Grabbing a coffee, that little moment of treat for yourself, and knowing how to order exactly what you want just makes it better. No more menu anxiety.
Hopefully not. No more feeling lost or just defaulting to the same old thing because you're unsure what else to try.
So the challenge for you, listening right now, is next time you go for coffee, maybe try something new based on what we discussed. Or customize your usual order a little bit. Ask for oat milk instead of regular. Try an extra shot. Ask for light ice. Experiment.
Yeah, put this knowledge into action. See how it feels to order with that newfound confidence. You might be really surprised at how easy and honestly how satisfying it can be when you know the ropes.
Go forth and conquer that coffee order. You've got this.
You really do.
Today, we're plunging into something super useful, I think. Mastering the art of ordering fast food in English.
Yeah, it sounds straightforward, right? But honestly, when you're in a new country or just, less confident with the language, even grabbing a quick burger can feel, well, a bit stressful.
Totally. It can be quite daunting. You worry about holding up the line or getting the wrong thing or just not being understood.
Exactly. So we've gathered a whole bunch of resources for this. We've looked at menu guides, online forums, watched videos of people ordering, really tried to get a comprehensive view.
You did. The goal here is simple. We want to equip you, our listener, with the knowledge, the phrases, and crucially, the confidence to navigate pretty much any fast food scenario smoothly.
Whether you're walking up to the counter, using a kiosk, or talking into that sometimes crackly drive-thru speaker, we want you to feel prepared.
Our aim today is pretty straightforward. Break down the whole process, start to finish, from the moment you walk in or pull up to walking away with your food.
So you feel completely comfortable, like ordering is, second nature.
So what exactly is on the menu for our deep dive today? Let's lay it out.
Okay.
We'll kick things off with those first interactions. Greetings, how to start the order, the basics, but really important basics.
That initial exchange sets the tone.
Then we'll get into the food itself.
Yeah.
Choosing your meal. We'll look at combo meals versus ordering single items, value deals, maybe even breakfast menus or those special limited time things.
Right. Deciphering the menu options. And then a big one, customization. Because fast food is often all about getting it exactly how you want it.
Oh, yeah. Hold the pickles, add extra cheese, swap the fries, all that good stuff. We'll cover the phrases you need for that.
And then there's the drive-thru. Similar, but different. We'll talk about those specific dynamics.
Definitely. Speaking into a box has its own quirks.
We'll also cover asking for those little extras, maybe a cup of water, extra napkins, sauces on the side.
Good point. And very importantly, how to handle dietary needs. Vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free. How do you ask?
And allergies. Super critical. How to communicate allergies clearly and effectively to keep yourself safe.
Absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Then the practical stuff. Paying. Cash, card, mobile pay, what to say, what to expect.
And then picking up your meal. What happens at the counter versus the drive-thru window.
We'll even touch on ordering for a group, which can get chaotic if you're not prepared.
Oh, definitely. Need a strategy for that sometimes.
And finally, what happens if something goes wrong? Because let's be honest, mistakes happen. How to politely point out an error in your order.
Right. Getting the wrong drink, missing item, wrong customization.
Yeah.
How to fix it without causing a scene.
And just briefly at the end, we'll mention ordering for really big groups. Parties, events, maybe catering options.
Wow. Okay. That's quite a comprehensive list. We're covering pretty much everything.
We're aiming for thorough. It's a full serving of information, you can say. Ready to dig in.
Let's do it. So, first step. Walking in or approaching the counter, that initial moment, what's the best way to handle that?
Well, first impressions matter, even in fast food. A simple, friendly greeting goes a long way. Just a hi or hello is fine.
Yeah, just acknowledging the person there, maybe a hi, how are you, if you feel comfortable.
Totally. Or hello, good morning. Or good afternoon, depending on the time. It just shows basic politeness, breaks the ice a little.
Right. And then what do you usually hear back from the staff? What's their opening line likely to be?
Typically, they'll prompt you to order. You'll hear things like, what can I get for you today? Or how can I help you? Sometimes just a ready to order.
Okay. So they give you the cue. It's not usually expected for you to just launch into your order the second you reach the counter.
Generally, no. It's better to wait for their question. It shows you understand the sort of unspoken rules of the interaction. Makes it smoother.
Makes sense. So they've asked, what can I get for you? Now's your moment. What are some good, clear ways to state your first item or your main order?
You want to be clear and reasonably concise. Two really standard ways are using I'll have or can I get.
Okay, give us examples.
Sure. You could say, I'll have a cheeseburger, please. Or if you know the whole meal, I'll have a cheeseburger combo with fries and a soda, please.
Adding please is always a good touch.
Always. And the other option, can I get a chicken nugget meal with a Coke? Or maybe, can I get the number 3 combo? If they use numbers on the menu.
Right. Referencing the menu number, that's efficient too.
Very. Especially if it's noisy or you're a bit unsure of the pronunciation of a menu item. Number 5, please, is easy.
So I'll have or can I get are the main starting phrases. Polite, clear.
Exactly. That gets the ball rolling.
Okay, solid foundation. Now let's talk about actually choosing the meal. Fast food menus can be visually loud Lots of options, bright colors.
They really can. Sometimes it's overwhelming, but they usually follow a pattern. You'll see categories.
Like what? What are the main sections you usually find?
Generally, you'll see combo meals or value meals grouped together, then individual items or a la carte. Sides will have their own section. And drinks, of course. Sometimes breakfast has its own menu, too.
Understanding those categories definitely helps you zero in on what you want faster. Let's break those down. Combo meals first. What's the deal with combos?
Combos, or sometimes called meals, are basically pre-packaged deals. They're designed for convenience and often offer a slight discount compared to buying everything separately.
And what's usually in a standard combo?
Almost always. It's a main item, say burger, chicken sandwich, maybe tacos, or a wrap paired with a standard side, which is usually fries, and a standard drink, often a soda.
So it's the main thing, the side, the drink, all bundled.
Exactly. It's the easiest way to get a full meal without having to think too much.
So how would you order one? Give us a couple of specific examples.
Okay, let's say you want a specific burger combo. You could say, I'd like the Big Mac combo, please. If the standard side and drink are fine, that might be enough.
But what if you want to specify the drink or maybe change the size?
Good point. It's better to be specific. So you'd say, I'd like a Big Mac combo with fries and a large Coke. That clarifies the main item, confirms the side, and specifies your drink choice and size.
Gotcha. Clear and complete. Another example, maybe one where you swap the side.
Sure. Let's say you want a chicken sandwich combo, but maybe you don't want fries. You could ask, can I get the spicy chicken sandwich combo, but with a side salad instead of fries? And a water.
Ah, okay. So you state the combo, then immediately mention the substitution you want.
Yeah, that's usually the clearest way. Mention the base combo, then the change. They might say if there's an upcharge for the salad, but it shows you know what you want.
So combos are convenient, potentially cheaper. But what if you're not that hungry? Or you just want, like, the fries?
That's where ordering single items or a la carte comes in. You just pick and choose exactly what you want, no bundle.
So if I just want a drink...
You just say, can I just get a large Diet Coke, please? I'll just have a coffee.
And if I just want a side?
Just have a small fries, please. Or, could I get an order of onion rings? Using jest can sometimes help emphasize you don't want anything else.
What about ordering just the main item, like a burger, without the fries and drink?
Yep, perfectly normal. You'd say, I'll just have the cheeseburger by itself. Adding by itself makes it really clear you don't want the combo version. Or simply, just a cheeseburger, please.
Okay, so by itself is a useful phrase there.
It is. Avoids confusion.
Now, lots of people are looking for the best deal, right? That brings us to value meals or value menus. How do those typically work?
Value meals are all about low price points. Often it's a separate menu section with smaller items or specific combinations offered at a fixed, cheaper price. Think dollar menus or 2 for $5 type deals.
Right, those promotional deals. So they're usually specific combinations.
Often, yes. Or a list of items you can choose from for a set price, like pick any 2 items from this list for $6.
How would you order one of those?
You usually reference the deal itself. For example, I'll take the 2 for $5 deal, please. Then you need to specify which items you want from the eligible options.
Ah, okay. So you don't just say the deal.
No, you have to follow up. So I'll take the 2 for $5 deal with a double cheeseburger and a small fries. Or maybe, can I get the $6 meal box? And then you might list the choices if the deal allows configuration.
So you got to know which items are part of that specific promotion.
Exactly. Sometimes the menu board makes it clear. Sometimes you might have to ask what comes with the $6 box. Or what are the options for the 2 for $5?
Good tip. Always clarify if you're unsure about the value deals.
Definitely. Save surprises at the pay window.
Okay, what about specialty meals? What falls under that umbrella?
This is kind of a catch-all. It definitely includes breakfast items. Most fast food places have a separate breakfast menu served only during specific morning hours.
Right. Pancakes, breakfast sandwiches, burritos, hash browns, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And ordering breakfast follows the same principles. Can I get the sausage breakfast burrito combo with an orange juice? Or I'll have the pancake platter and a large coffee, please.
Need to make sure you're ordering during breakfast hours, though.
Crucial point. Don't try ordering pancakes at 3 p.m. It usually won't work.
Right. What else counts as specialty?
Limited time offers, or LTOs. These are the new burgers, seasonal shakes, special sandwiches that chains introduce for, well, limited time. They heavily advertise these usually.
Ah, the McRib effect.
Precisely. Or those holiday-themed drinks. To order these, you usually just use the specific promotional name.
Like?
I'll try the new spicy Texan burger. Or, can I get one of those shamrock shakes? Using try is natural if it's new to you.
So you just name the special item. Got it.
Okay, so we've covered finding your meal. Combos, single items, value, specialty. Now let's get into the fun part for many. Customization.
Yes. Making it your perfect meal. This is where knowing the right phrases is really handy.
Absolutely. Fast food is surprisingly flexible most of the time. Let's start with modifying the ingredients in your main item, like a burger or sandwich. What's a common request?
Removing things you don't like is probably number one. Pickles are famously divisive.
They are. So how do you politely ask for no pickles?
The classic phrase is, hold the pickles. So, can I get a cheeseburger but hold the pickles, please?
Hold the pickles. Works for other things too.
Yep. Hold the onions, hold the mayo, hold the lettuce. It's a standard way to say, without this ingredient.
Okay, hold the ingredient. Easy enough. What's another way to say it?
You can also use without or no. Like, could I have the chicken sandwich but without mayo? Or simply, cheeseburger, no onions, please.
No onions, direct and clear.
Exactly. Choose whichever feels more natural to you. Hold the molka is maybe slightly more idiomatic, but no, or without, works perfectly fine.
Okay, so that's removing stuff. What about adding things? People love adding extras.
Oh, yeah. Extra cheese is probably top of the list.
How do you ask for that?
Simple. Can I add extra cheese to my sandwich? Or, I'd like extra cheese on that burger, please. Be aware, extras like cheese or bacon almost always cost more. Good point. Manage expectations on price. What about adding bacon?
Same idea. Could you add bacon to that? Or, I'd like bacon on my burger, please. Straightforward requests.
What if you want, say, extra sauce inside the burger, not on the side?
You could try asking, can I get extra barbecue sauce on the sandwich? Specify on rather than on the side. Whether they can do it might depend on the place, but it's worth asking.
Okay, so we can remove ingredients, add ingredients. What about changing things, like the bread?
Sometimes. It depends on the restaurant's options. Some places might offer whole wheat buns or maybe lettuce wraps instead of buns.
So how would you inquire about that?
You'd ask, do you have whole wheat buns? Or can I get that sandwich on a whole wheat bun instead of the regular one? Or is it possible to get this burger as a lettuce wrap?
So frame it as a question first if you're unsure if it's even an option.
Exactly. Can I get that on? Or is it possible to?
What about changing how something is cooked? Like grilled versus fried chicken?
That's a common one, especially for people looking for healthier options.
Yeah, how do you ask for that swap?
You'd say, could I have the grilled chicken sandwich instead of the fried chicken? Or, if ordering a combo that defaults to fried, can I get the number 4 combo, but with grilled chicken?
Again, clearly stating the substitution.
Consistency is key. State what you want instead of what's standard.
Makes sense. Okay, modifications to the main item covered. What about changing the sides? Fries are standard, but what if you want something else?
Very common request. Lots of places offer alternatives now, like onion rings, side salads, maybe mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, fruit cups.
So how do you make the switch?
Similar to changing ingredients. Can I get onion rings instead of fries with my combo? Or, I'd like a side salad instead of the fries, please.
Instead of fries seems to be the key phrase.
It is. It clearly signals the substitution you want for the default side. You could also say, could I substitute the fries for onion rings?
Okay. And what if it's not a combo? You're just ordering a side, but they have options.
Did you just specify, can I get a side of mashed potatoes, please? If they ask, with gravy, you respond, yes, please, or no, thank you.
Gotcha. Now, sometimes there are, like, premium sides, things that cost extra.
Yes, like sweet potato fries or maybe mac and cheese at some places. These usually involve an upgrade fee.
How do you ask for that?
You'd use the word upgrade. Like, could I upgrade my side to sweet potato fries?
Sure.
Or can I pay extra to get the mac and cheese instead of regular fries? Acknowledging it might cost more is helpful.
Right. Shows you understand it's not a standard swap. Upgrade to, or pay extra for. Good phrases.
Definitely.
Okay, last bit of customization. Sauces. People are passionate about their sauces.
Very true. Ketchup, mayo, barbecue, ranch, honey mustard. The list goes on.
So how do you ask for sauces? Especially if you want them, say, not on the food, but separate.
The key phrase there is on the side. So, can I get some barbecue sauce on the side, please? Or could I have ranch dressing on the side for my salad?
On the side, got it. Why ask for it on the side?
Control, mainly. You can dip as much or as little as you want. Also avoids making things soggy if you're taking it to go.
Makes sense. What if you just want more of a sauce that already comes with the meal, or just extra packets of ketchup?
Then you just ask for extra. Could I get some extra ketchup packets, please? Or I'd like extra mayonnaise, please. If it's a sauce pump, they might just give you small containers.
Okay, so on the side, for separate, extra for more. Simple enough.
Pretty much covers the main customization requests, I think.
That's a lot of flexibility. Seems like you can really get your order dialed in if you know how to ask.
You really can. Don't be afraid to ask politely for what you want. The worst they can say is no, or that it costs extra.
Good advice. Okay, let's shift gears. We've mastered ordering inside at the counter. What about the drive-thru?
Ah, the drive-thru. A modern marvel of convenience, but sometimes a communication challenge.
Why is it different?
Well, the main thing is you're not face-to-face. You're talking through a speaker system, often to someone who's multitasking. And the sound quality isn't always perfect.
Yeah, that crackle and pop or the traffic noise in the background.
Exactly. So clarity and patience are even more important. You need to speak clearly, maybe a little louder than normal, but don't shout.
So you pull up to the speaker. What's the first thing you usually hear?
It's usually very similar to inside. Welcome to restaurant name. How can I help you? Or go ahead and order when you're ready. Or sometimes just a beep, meaning they're ready for you.
Okay, so wait for their signal. Don't just start talking as soon as you pull out.
Right. Give them a second. Then state your order clearly. Use those same phrases. Hi, I'll have. Or hi, can I get?
Let's run through a typical drive-thru exchange. Say, I want a burger combo, customized.
Okay. You pull up. Speaker. Hi, welcome. What can I get for you today?
You. Hi, can I get the #1 combo, the double cheeseburger one?
Speaker. Okay. #1 combo. What would you like to drink with that?
You. A medium Diet Coke, please. And on the burger, could you hold the onions?
Speaker. Okay. #1, medium Diet Coke, no onions. Will that be everything for you today?
You. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Speaker. All right, your total is $9.50. Please pull forward to the first window.
Okay. Seems pretty smooth when it works well. What if they interrupt you?
That happens. They might try to confirm items as you go or ask about upsizing. Just pause, answer their question, and then continue with your order. Like if they ask, do you want cheese on that? Mid-order, just say, yes, please, and then finish your sentence.
Patience is key, sounds like.
Yeah.
And listening carefully to make sure they heard you right.
Exactly. And they'll usually repeat the order back to you at the end, or it will show up on a screen. Pay attention to that confirmation. That's your chance to catch any mistakes before you pay.
Good point. Check the screen or listen carefully to the readback. What if they don't repeat it?
You can always ask, could you just repeat that order back to me quickly, please? It's better to take an extra 10 seconds than to get the wrong food.
Definitely. So clarity, patience, check the confirmation. Anything else specific to drive-thrus?
Maybe just be aware it can feel a bit more rushed. Try to have your order ready before you get to the speaker to keep the line moving. Don't wait until you're at the speaker to start deciding between 3 different chicken sandwiches. Look at the menu board as you approach.
Right. Be considerate of the people behind you. Have your order and payment method ready.
Exactly. Makes it smoother for everyone.
Okay. Drive-thrus demystified. Now, what about asking for those little extra things, the stuff that's not really part of the main meal order?
Yes. Important little bits. Like water. Sometimes you just want water.
How do you ask for that? Is it usually free?
Often, yes. A small cup of tap water is free, but policies vary. You should ask, can I get a cup of water, please? Or maybe, could I have a cup for water? If they have a self-serve fountain inside.
Okay, simple enough. A cup of water, please?
What about other things? Napkins, straws, condiments?
Good questions. Sometimes they automatically put them in the bag, especially at drive-thrus, but not always.
So if you want to be sure, or if you know you need extra,
just ask when you order or when you pick up your food. Could I get some extra napkins, please? Or can I get a straw for my drink? Or could I grab a few packets of ketchup?
Better to ask than to drive away and realize you have no napkins for your messy burger.
Precisely. Especially with kids in the car. Ask for extra napkins proactively.
Good life advice right there. So just politely request the specific item. Extra napkins, a straw, ketchup packets.
Yep, usually no problem at all.
Okay. Now for a topic that's increasingly important for many people, dietary modifications. This goes beyond just hold the mayo.
Absolutely. More people have specific dietary needs or preferences. Vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, low-calorie.
How do you approach this at a fast food place? Do they usually have options?
It varies hugely. Some chains are great with dedicated menus or clear labeling. Others less so. The first step is often just to ask generally.
Like how?
If you're vegetarian or vegan, you can ask, do you have any vegetarian options? Or are there any vegan items on the menu?
That opens the door. What if you see something that could be made suitable, like a bean burrito that might have cheese?
Then you get specific with modifications. Can you make the bean burrito without cheese and sour cream? Or is the veggie burger patty vegan? Or does it contain egg or dairy? You might need to ask about specific ingredients.
So asking about ingredients is key, especially for veganism.
Definitely. Sauces, buns, cooking surfaces, hidden animal products can be anywhere. Asking, is the bun vegan? Or is that cooked on the same grill as the meat? Might be necessary if you're strict.
Okay. What about gluten-free? That seems harder in a place built on bread.
It can be challenging, yeah. Again, start by asking, do you have any gluten-free options? Some places now offer gluten-free buns, often for an extra charge.
So you might ask, can I get the burger on a gluten-free bun?
Exactly. Or maybe some menu items are naturally gluten-free, like salads, but check the dressing. Or maybe grilled chicken fillets without a bun. You might have to inquire, is the grilled chicken gluten-free?
Cross-contamination is a big risk with gluten too, right?
Huge risk in a fast food kitchen. If you have celiac disease, you need to be very clear about the severity and ask about their procedures. Do you have procedures to prevent cross-contamination for gluten allergies? Honestly, for severe celiac, many fast food places might not be safe.
That's a really important point. Manage your expectations based on your sensitivity level.
For sure. What about lower calorie options?
This often comes back to customization and choices.
Yeah.
Opting for grilled instead of fried is a big one.
So repeating that phrase, can I get the grilled chicken instead of fried?
Yes. Also, choosing water or diet soda instead of regular soda. Getting sauces on the side to control the amount. Choosing a side salad with a light vinaigrette instead of fries.
So it's about making smarter choices from the available options and modifications.
Pretty much. Asking for no mayo or light mayo if available.
Yeah.
Skipping cheese. Looking for salads, maybe yogurt parfait at breakfast.
It takes a bit more thought, but it's often possible to piece together a lighter meal.
It is. You just need to ask about the options and modifications available.
Okay, that covers general dietary preferences. But what about serious food allergies? This feels like a different level of importance.
It absolutely is. This isn't just preference, it's safety. If you have a food allergy, you must communicate it clearly and directly.
What's the best way to do that?
State your allergy up front when you begin ordering. Don't wait until the end. Say something like, "Hi, before I order, I need to let you know I have a severe peanut allergy."
Be direct and use the word allergy.
Yes. Don't just say, "I don't like nuts." Say, "I have a nut allergy." Then, you need to ask about specific items you're considering.
How would you phrase that? For a nut allergy example.
I have a severe peanut allergy. Do any of your menu items contain peanuts or tree nuts? Are they prepared in shared areas or with shared utensils? You need to ask about ingredients and cross-contamination risk.
That's quite detailed. Is it okay to ask that much?
Absolutely okay. It's necessary for your safety. Staff should be trained on allergy protocols, but the reality can vary. You need to be your own advocate. Ask to speak to a manager if the frontline staff seems unsure.
Okay. What about other common allergies, like dairy?
Same principle. I have a dairy allergy. Can you tell me if the specific item, e.g. chicken nuggets, contain milk, cheese, or butter? Is the bun dairy-free?
Asking about specific ingredients within the item.
Yes. And again, cross-contamination. Is this cooked on a surface where cheese might be present?
It sounds like you need to be quite persistent and specific.
You do. Check ingredient lists if they have them available. Some chains post allergy info online or have binders. Reiterate your allergy when you pay and pick up the food. Double-check your order visually if possible.
Wow. It's a lot of responsibility on the person with the allergy.
It is, unfortunately. While restaurants should be careful, you cannot assume they will be. Clear, direct communication is your best tool. Phrases like, "I have a severe allergy to allergen," "Does this contain allergen?" and "Is there a risk of cross-contamination?" are essential.
Okay, crucial advice there for allergy sufferers. Be direct, be specific, ask about cross-contamination, and double-check.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry.
All right. We've navigated the menu, customized, handled special needs and allergies. Now, the moment of truth, paying for it all.
Right. The transaction itself. Usually pretty straightforward these days.
What are the main ways you can expect to pay?
The classics. Cash and cards. Most places take major credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, sometimes Amex or Discover, and debit cards.
And increasingly digital payments, right?
Definitely. Mobile payments like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay are becoming very common. Sometimes specific restaurant apps have payment features too.
So when you're ready to pay, how do you signal your chosen method?
The cashier will usually tell you the total first. Your total is $12.85. Then you could just state your method. If using cash, you can just hand it over or say, I'll pay with cash. If you need change, you might hand them a $20 bill and say, out of 20.
Okay. And for cards?
You'd say, I'll pay with card, or I'll use my credit card, or debit, please. Then you'll follow the instructions on the card reader, insert chip, tap, or swipe.
And for mobile pay?
You typically ask first, just to be sure they accept it, although often there are signs, can I pay with Apple Pay? Or did you take Google Pay? Then hold your phone near the reader when prompted.
Pretty simple. Cash, card, or mobile, just state it clearly.
Exactly. What else happens during payment? They tell you the total. Anything else?
Sometimes, especially if paying my card on a machine, you might be prompted about adding a tip.
Tipping at fast food places. That's always a bit ambiguous, isn't it?
It is. It's generally not expected in the same way as at a full-service restaurant where you have a dedicated server, but those prompts on card machines are becoming more common.
So what happens? The machine shows options like 10%, 15%, 20%, or no tip.
Usually something like that, or a custom amount option.
So what's the etiquette? What should you do?
Honestly, it's entirely up to you. Many people select no tip at fast food counters or drive-thrus, and that's perfectly acceptable. If you feel the service was exceptional or you just you can add a small amount.
So if the staff asks verbally, would you like to add a tip? How might you respond if you don't want to?
A simple, polite no thank you is perfectly fine. Or just the total, please. No need to feel awkward about it.
Okay, good to know. So pay using your preferred method, decide on the optional tip if prompted. Then what?
Then you wait for your food, which brings us to the pickup process.
Right. You've paid. Now you collect your delicious, perfectly customized meal. How did this usually work if you ordered inside at the counter?
After you pay, they'll give you a receipt. Often this receipt has an order number on it.
Okay, so hold on to that receipt.
Definitely. Then you'll usually step aside from the payment counter and wait in a designated pickup area.
And how do you know when your food is ready?
Couple of ways. Sometimes they have screens that display order numbers, showing which ones are in progress and which are ready for pickup. Your number will move to the ready section.
Like at Argos back in the day.
Exactly like that. Or, more commonly, a staff member will call out your order number. Order number 95.
So you listen for your number.
Yep. When you hear it, you go up to the pickup counter, show your receipt maybe, and they'll hand you your tray or bag.
What if they don't use numbers?
Sometimes, especially if it's not busy, they might just call out the food itself. Cheeseburger combo with a Coke. Or they might just make eye contact and hand it directly to you if you're the only one waiting.
Okay, so listen for your number or the description of your food, then grab it from the pickup counter.
Right, and maybe do a quick visual check if you can. Does it look roughly like what you ordered? Got the right drink? Before you walk away.
Good idea. Easier to fix it right there. What about the drive-thru pickup?
Usually simpler logistically. After you pay at the first window, or sometimes payment and pickup are the same window, you just pull forward to the designated pickup window.
And then?
You wait your turn, and a staff member will lean out and hand you your bags of food and your drinks, probably in a carrier.
Is there any interaction needed there?
Just basic politeness, usually. They'll hand you the food, maybe say, here you go. You should say, thank you.
A simple thanks goes a long way.
It does. Maybe add a, have a great day if you're feeling friendly. They might say, you too, enjoy your meal, or something similar.
Nice, quick, polite exchange.
Exactly. And again, maybe take 5 seconds before you drive off to quickly glance in the bag. Are the main items there? Got napkins? Drink looks right?
Smart. Harder to go back once you've merged back into traffic.
Very true. Quick check at the window is worth it.
Okay. So pickup sorted. Now, what if you're not just ordering for yourself? What about ordering for a group? A family? Some friends?
Ah, yes. The group order. This can be smooth, or it can be utter chaos.
I've seen the chaos. What's the key to making it smooth?
Preparation and clarity. Number 1 tip. Know what everyone wants before you get to the counter or the speaker. Write it down if you need to.
Good idea. Trying to remember 3 or 4 different customized orders under pressure is asking for trouble.
Exactly. Have a list. Person 1 wants this, person 2 wants that, with no onions. Person 3 wants the other thing. Swap fries for salad.
And when you order, how do you present it clearly?
Order one person's complete meal at a time. Okay, first I need a cheeseburger combo with a Coke. Then I need a chicken wrap by itself. And finally, a number 3 combo with a Sprite, but no pickles on the sandwich.
Break it down logically. Don't jump around.
Right. Complete one unit, one person's meal, or one main item with its mods before moving to the next. It helps the order taker keep track.
Makes sense. What about deals? Are there often group deals?
Sometimes. Look out for family bundles, meal deals for 4, or pizza places often have multi-pizza discounts. It's worth checking the menu for those. If you're ordering for several people, it might save some money. So asking, do you have any family deals or bundles could be useful.
Definitely. Or specifically, I'm ordering for 4 people. What's the best value option you have?
Let's try an example group order, say for a family of 4.
Okay. You can say, hi, I need to place a bit of a larger order. First, can I get a Big Mac combo with a large Coke? Then a Quarter Pounder combo with a Sprite? Also a Happy Meal with chicken nuggets, fries, and an apple juice? And finally, just a Filet-O-Fish sandwich by itself.
Okay, listing each meal clearly. What if 2 people want the same combo but maybe different drinks or customizations?
You'd specify that. I need 2 cheeseburger combos, please. One with a Coke and regular fries. The other one with a Diet Coke. And can I get onion rings instead of fries for that second one?
Clarity on the differences is key.
Super key. Read from your list. Speak clearly, maybe slightly slower than usual for a complex order. And definitely listen to the readback or check the screen carefully.
Yeah, the potential for error increases with the number of items.
Absolutely. Double checking is even more crucial for group orders.
Okay, good strategies for group orders. But what if, despite all our best efforts and clear communication, the order is wrong when we get it?
It happens. Mistakes are made, especially when places are busy. The important thing is how you handle it.
Which is, what's the approach?
Stay calm and be polite. Getting angry or accusatory rarely helps. Just calmly and clearly point out the mistake.
Okay, so let's say they gave you the wrong drink. You ordered a Sprite, got a Coke. What do you say?
Go back to the counter or get their attention at the drive-thru window if you haven't left and say something like, excuse me, I think there might be a mistake with my drink. I ordered a Sprite, but I received a Coke.
Polite states the problem clearly. Excuse me, I think is a gentle way to start.
Exactly. Avoid sounding accusatory. Most times they'll just apologize and swap it for you immediately. Oh, sorry about that. Here's your Sprite.
Okay. What if an item is missing entirely? You ordered fries, they're not in the bag.
Same approach. Excuse me, I think my fries might be missing from this order. Could you possibly check? Again, I think. And phrasing it as a request, could you check? Keeps it polite.
And show them your receipt, if needed, presumably.
Yes, having your receipt handy is helpful to quickly confirm what you ordered and paid for.
What about incorrect customization? You asked for no onions, but there are definitely onions on your burger.
This one requires a bit more. They need to remake the item. So you'd say, excuse me, I asked for no onions on my burger when I ordered, but this one has them. Would it be possible to get it remade without onions, please?
Again, polite, clear statement of the issue. I asked for no onions, this has them, and a polite request for resolution. Would it be possible to get it remade?
Exactly. Focus on the facts and the desired outcome, a burger without onions. Most fast food places will remake it without fuss if it was their mistake.
What if they seem reluctant or it's really busy?
Stay polite but firm. I understand you're busy, but I did order it without onions. If necessary, you could politely ask to speak to a manager, but usually the frontline staff can resolve simple errors like this. The key is maintaining politeness throughout.
Politeness is paramount, even when correcting an error. Got it.
It just makes the whole interaction less stressful for everyone involved.
Okay, one last scenario. What if you need to place a really large order? Not just for a family, but for like an office lunch, a kid's party, some kind of event.
Okay. Now we're moving towards catering territory. This usually requires a different approach than just showing up at the counter or drive-thru.
Wait.
Well, preparing food for, say, 20 or 30 people takes time and resources. Just dropping a huge order on them during a busy lunch rush might not be feasible or fair to other customers.
So what's the recommended way?
Call ahead. Definitely call the specific restaurant location well in advance. Ask to speak to a manager or someone who handles large orders or catering.
And what should you inquire about?
Ask if they offer catering packages or bulk discounts for large groups. Explain how many people you need to feed and roughly what kind of food you're looking for.
So phrases like,
hi, I'm planning an event for about 25 people next Saturday. Do you offer any catering packages or options for large orders? Or, I need to order about 15 large pizzas for an office lunch next Friday. Is that something you can accommodate? And what's the best way to arrange that?
Okay, so inquire about packages, state your needs, number of people, date, general food type, and ask about the process.
Exactly. They might have specific catering menus, require a certain amount of notice, like 24 or 48 hours, or have special pricing. Calling ahead allows them to prepare properly and ensures you get what you need when you need it.
Trying to order 10 pizzas on the spot at 6 p.m. on a Friday? Probably not going to work well.
Probably not. Planning and communication are key for those really big orders.
Good distinction. Okay, wow. We have covered a ton of ground.
We really have. From that very first hi to handling complex group orders and allergies. It's quite the journey, isn't it?
It really is. And it highlights how many different communication skills are involved in what seems like such a simple, everyday task.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully breaking it down like this, looking at all the different phrases and scenarios, makes it feel much less intimidating for you, our listener.
That's the goal. To see that while there are many possibilities, the core vocabulary is manageable. Can I get, leopard, hold, the art instead of on the side. Do you have, I have an allergy to. Mastering these key phrases gives you a lot of power.
It really does. And confidence comes with practice. So our main takeaway for you is, don't be afraid to try. Use these phrases. Go out there and order.
Exactly. Each time you do it, it'll feel a little easier, a little more natural. Maybe start with a simple order, then try a customization next time. Build up gradually.
And remember why this matters. Fast food is everywhere. Being able to navigate ordering easily and confidently in English just opens up so many convenient options, whether you're traveling, studying abroad, or just living in an English-speaking environment.
It's a practical skill that genuinely makes daily life simpler. Knowing you can walk in anywhere and get exactly what you want without stress. That's a good feeling.
It really is. So that brings us towards the end of this very comprehensive deep dive.
It's been a detailed one.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sticking with us through all of that detail on ordering fast food in English. We genuinely hope you found it valuable.
Yes, thank you for your time and attention. We hope these tips and phrases give you that boost of confidence next time you're feeling hungry.
Every successful order you place is a win. Remember that. It builds momentum.
Absolutely. Practice really does make perfect, or at least much more comfortable.
And so that really is it for this deep dive. A huge thank you again to every single one of you who listened all the way through to the end. We appreciate you being here.
We really do.